Hi there. Okay, so I'm working on the longer than 1 week, November 7th through 20th of 2022 in my project life. And I'm going to be working with the Freckled Fawn kit from December, which is all black and white. But before I get to that, I want to point out, so I decided to combine 2 weeks into one here. And these were I was just busy. It was cold out. I didn't take a lot of photos, which is not normal for me, but the photos I did take were mostly vertical. And I didn't have any that I wanted to print as horizontal photos. So what I ended up doing was combining the 2 weeks to even get enough photos for a spread, and then printing all of the photos I wanted is 3x4 verticals. And what I'm going to do is turn the 4x6 pockets into 3x4 pockets. I also saved this packaging from Trader Joe's from these toffee chips that I picked up during this 2-week period and snacked on, and they were absolutely delicious. So I wanted to document those. So my thought is that these are going to kind of like zigzag and just do photo card throughout this spread. So this is November in my project life. It's getting towards the end of the year. And I'm finding that I'm running into this issue more and more where I don't have a lot of horizontal photos and I have a lot more vertical photos. I also don't have as many photos as I used to. And part of that is my daughter's growing up. She's not around me as often. Part of that is I'm single. And it's just, I think my life is changing. I love project life. I absolutely adore project life. And I couldn't see myself stopping this project. However, I decided it was time for a change in 2023. And I am going to switch to the 9x12 size because those tend to cut off right here. And so you lose this pocket, and then these ones turn into 3x4s. So you end up with more vertical pockets. And I think that that will be better for me going forward. I'm still going to do it weekly, but I am going to switch to that 9x12 size. I think it will also be fun to switch up the layout because I've been doing this Design A page protector for so long. Okay, so now that I've gotten that out of the way, I want to dig back into this specific spread. And I'm going to be working with this kit from Freckled Fawn. You can see I've already used bits of it because I did dig into it in my December daily. I couldn't wait. But now I'm back on Project Life and I'm going to work with this. But before I do that, I'm going to crop all of these out. We'll get them laid out and then start going through the kit. So I have all of my photos laid out. So I think you can maybe get a better idea now of what I meant by kind of like a grid pattern here. And then I'm going to dig into this kit, and you can see I kind of make a mess when I'm going through these kits and when I was working with it before. So I'm going to try to kind of clean it up here and go through it for you. So I have these embellishments. I'm going to go through the embellishments first because they're on top, which are the only color in this kit with this pink. But I think I kind of want to stay away from the pink and stick with just the black and white because I think that's so fun. There's some washi strips that are in the patterns from the kit, which are always great in Project Life because I love them to make your own journaling card, like to put this across the top, especially if I was going to do typed journaling, which I'm not for this spread, but that is such a good use of these. And then I also like to use them on the edges of photos. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to be using those. There's these fun label stickers, and these are super cute, and some of the cards match them. I'm definitely going to be using those. There's some wood veneer stars. I was thinking that I might want to heat emboss these, but I kind of want to heat emboss them with color, and I don't know that I want to do that on this spread, so we'll see. There's these puffy words, which are super fun. You can see I already used one of them in my December daily, but there's a lot more on here, so I might do one of these, maybe like on my title card or something. There's some word phrase chipboard, which are super fun, and I think I want to try to use these to embellish my photos. And then we move into the cards and the paper. So I get the 3x4 cards, and I get the pattern papers in 12x12. So there's this one with the label. So this would be super fun, like just to do some journaling, or I could cut them out, but because I already have these ones, I might use this kind of as its own card. And then on the back, there's like a big one for a larger story. So I have to decide kind of if I want to do 3 short stories or one larger, but either way, there's room for that. There's this one that has just like a small label, and then this one which has room for more journaling, which I like that one a lot. Got this one. Don't forget about this. This is a nice circle. I kind of like that one to cut it out. This one I love. I used this one in my December daily, but I kind of want to use it again. So maybe like, I'm just kind of laying them out now, and I'll get a better idea later. Enjoy the little things in life. So I think I want to use this one as a filler card, but I don't want it next to like the dark. So I think like this might be a better, like, let's see, like that. And then I don't want this one as dark, so I'm gonna maybe put this here. There, I like that. And then we have repeats, never give up, and the flowers. So I'm trying to decide if I want to do a second filler, potentially. I'm just gonna put it there for now as a placeholder, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna use it. And then for my journaling, let's see, do I need more than just those cards? Because I could always do this one again. So I'm just gonna think like, what stories do I have to tell? So I have my sticky note here where I wrote out my stories. So let's see, we've got Election Day. And let's see, for Veterans Day, I went to the rail trail, got groceries. There's a December daily prep party. I had some Zoom calls with friends. So I think this one I'm going to talk about crafting and the prep party and Zoom calls. Let's see. Thursday, I went to dinner with my friend Jess. I did forget to take pictures. I had some time off. And, I went to go see She Said with my daughter. And we went and ran some errands. We did a a college tour. Craft tour sounds way more fun. So that's definitely a story. So let's see, I feel like those could be, let me get my pencil here. So my craft ones, the Zoom calls and prep parties, I'm putting those 3 together. And then on this one, I think I want to do dinner with my friend Jess, movies with my daughter, and then college tour with my daughter. 1, 2, 3. And then let's see. Then I have a couple other stories I want to tell. My product play lesson went live, so I feel like that should also kind of be in this one, which kind of goes along with the story I used that same card for in December Daily. And then let's see, I kind of do like time off. Another Zoom call. let's see, for snow. And then I have one more story that I want to tell that I'm going to blur out. So I think I'm going to use this card twice. And then I also have this card. This is more for like a longer story, but let's see, I don't really have a longer story. You know what, I'm going to take the college tour off, and I'm going to make my errands my third one, and then I'm going to make this one about the college tour. And this is from the college tour. So I'm going to put that there. And then I have 3, 3, and that. So now I have so many stories over here and not so many stories over here. So I'm going to rearrange. I'm going to put this like that. I know I had those before. And then I'm going to put this one here with that and this one here. Okay. So that is my layout so far. Now I'm going to go through the pattern papers. Okay, so some of these, like this one, I've already cut down because I cut a piece out of it, but there's this nice pattern and then there's this darker pattern, which I love both of those. There's this floral and some bold stripes. I think I like the bold stripes and I almost want to like journal on them. So actually I think I'm going to do a bold stripe one. And I can't forget I have those label stickers too, because I might want to add more journaling. I have been spending some time kind of looking back through older Project Life albums, and I'm kind of getting drawn back to the older style where there's a lot more like handwriting and like little angles and just like filling in the corners, and not so much like, I don't even know how to explain it. It just wasn't as like orderly. See, I love both of these patterns. I'm just kind of like cropping because like I just like it. So I think I'm gonna use this one as like a filler and I'll embellish it right here. And if you wanted to add more color, this would be fun to kind of color in, and maybe I will do that because I do want to like document my new mild liners with it. This floral too might be good for my title card. Now remember, I do need a title card, so I'm going to put that one to the side. That's the extra of it. The duplicate. This is a duplicate of that other one. And then there's this one. So this one and that one are so similar. I don't think I'm going to use them on the same spread. Then there's this like scribbly one. So I kind of like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this for my title card. Because it's a larger pattern that I feel like it'll look better. I feel like it'll look better on the 4x6 size than the 3x4 size. And then I'm not going to use that other one, but then I'm going to use this one, which I already cropped down because I was using the other side. I'm going to use this one as a filler. And then I need like a background behind this one because it's not quite big enough. So I feel like that works. And then I have this paper, which I don't think this piece is big enough. So it's I can get one card out of it, but not two. So I'm going to put that there. And then the other side is this one. I'm going to put this one up there. Okay. So that is a super fun kind of just like way I have all of the pockets filled in. This looks totally different from a lot of my other spreads, which is what I'm kind of going for here. That's one of my favorite things about Project Life is the ability to kind of like play around and try new things. So I'm going to kind of go through it. I'm going to put you guys on fast forward, use the kit, put it together, and kind of find a way to make it a little more, I don't know, whimsical, I guess, is kind of what I'm going for. I'm going to do some handwriting. I may do some stamping and just have fun with it.
Okay, guys, this spread took a little bit longer than it usually does, I think, for me to create a Project Life spread. I did do a lot of stamping and other little fun bits that I really had a lot of fun with. I had put on some TV while I was working on this spread and just, enjoyed the process. So as you saw, I already have everything kind of laid out. So I'm just going to go pocket by pocket and fill everything in. So this first card here, I'm doing the title card, and I used one of the label stickers and one of the stars from the kit and just added my rolling date stamp. And then I'm just going to go through pocket by pocket and kind of work on what I want to fill each pocket with. So I had really had it in my head that I wanted to do some large alphabet stamping. And if you've been following me for a while, you know this is one of my favorite techniques. So what I'm doing here is I decided to stamp out so much crafting on vellum with this large alphabet stamp, and then I'm going to cut it out and use that to adhere onto that patterned card right there that I have next to my stamping. So a lot of times I do my large stamping like this directly on whatever I'm going to include it on, but stamping it on vellum gives you a lot more flexibility if you are a little worried about your stamping being perfect or working out the letter spacing, because as you see, I'm cutting out all of the letters and then I can just lay them out on my card before I adhere them down. You can see that I switched out those two cards because I thought that other pattern was a little too dark and that the letters here would not pop out on this card. So I actually created the spread quite a while ago, and it just took me a bit to get to sharing it. But at the time, I was working on my class, Plan, Prep, Play, and when I was putting the spread together. So I had just been crafting so much. And during the week that I'm documenting here, I was also crafting so much. I was really in like a super craft mode for like a few months there, including this week when I was just starting work on my class. So it was just a large theme in my life. Scrapbooking, has always been kind of a large theme in my life, but as anyone who does any hobby would be able to tell you, you go through some waves of like more and less, just depending on your mood. So that's this was a very craft heavy time period. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that, but I didn't feel like it needed a ton of journaling, or it just kind of needed to pop. So I love how it came out putting it on this card. So you saw that I adhered those letters down, and then I took it over to my sewing machine and just stitched them in place just to add a little bit more texture. And then I'm taping down the backs of that thread on the back of the card there. So now I'm going to move on to the next pocket. You saw I just kind of rearranged a little bit there, and I'm just kind of looking through, trying to figure out what I want to use next, if I want to use these washi strips or some of this chipboard, and just kind of swapping out pieces here and there. I'm moving on to this photo I took of my feet when I went on a walk, and I decided to add a little embellishment cluster, and I didn't like any of the embellishments with the kit for the spot. So what I did was I just punched a circle out of patterned paper, and I'm adhering that down, and then I'm putting one of the chipboard phrases on top of it. And I love how that turned out. Sometimes we forget that our pattern paper can be embellishments. It doesn't have to just be backgrounds. So it's just a fun reminder that you can use that as your embellishment, especially with something like a circle punch. A lot of these are going into 4x6 pockets, even though I'm using 3x4s for every single pocket. So I just adhered them in the back there, I adhered them side by side using some washi tape. On the front of this card here, I added some washi, and then I'm adding a little strip of white cardstock that I'm going to add a little bit of journaling on. So I originally had put the washi down, or actually I'm not even going to journal. I originally put the washi directly on the pattern, and it didn't pop. So that's why I added that white cardstock behind the washi so that you could actually see the pattern on the washi. Now I'm going ahead and doing my journaling here. On this spread, I do have a lot of journaling, and I kind of talked you through in the beginning how I organized my stories and how I decided what was going to go on which card, so that now that I'm doing the journaling, I already have a plan as to which stories I'm going to tell on each card. I'm just writing out that actual story. Of course, I'm coming up with the words as I go, but I already have a general idea of what I'm going to say. This is my stamp binder that I'm pulling over to pick out some number stamps. And if you're not familiar with that stamp binder, I'm going to link it up in the corner. So if you want to know more about that, I have a whole YouTube video about how I do organize my stamps and what that stamp binder is. But I used it to pick out a number stamp here that I'm going to add numbers 1 through 6 on these 2 cards and use it to tell 6 different stories. So I'm using my sticky note there, and as you saw in the beginning, I organized my stories to know which ones were going to go on these cards. So I'm just going to kind of checking them off and handwriting out my various stories. I am going to leave one of them blank because I am going to come back and add that story after so that it's not shared online. But other than that, I'm super happy to kind of share all of this with you guys. But you can kind of guess what that would look like with that last one filled in. Okay, so now I'm moving on to these 2 photos here. I'm going to just, again, adhere them side by side, these 2 cards. And you can see I'm kind of doing sort of like a grid pattern where every other pocket is a photo versus a card. And I love how that looks, especially with all the black and white. So now I'm pulling over this photo. This is a photo of my house basket and my cat who is underneath my nightstand, which I thought was hilarious because he doesn't really fit under there, and I don't know why he decided to go under there. So I added a little label sticker, and I'm going to just add a little bit of journaling about him being weird and being underneath there. And I added a chipboard phrase strip. So you can see what I did there was I tested out my pen on that pad where those labels come from, because this is a material that I haven't used before. These labels are from Freckled Fawn, and I don't have any other labels from them, so I didn't know which pens to work with on those labels. And sometimes when you're trying a new paper, different pens either will smear or just won't look as good as others. So I tested it on the edge of that pad first, and I'm just letting it dry over there while I'm working on other cards. So I journaled all about our college tour visit, and I added some stamping at the top to just kind of tie everything together on the spread with lots of the alphabet stamping and to give it a title. And then I adhered it with the photo of the donut, which was from the college tour. So again, I'm just continuing along, adhering these photos side by side, or photos and cards. And then I'm moving on to this additional journaling card where I'm going to add numbers 4, 5, and 6 and tell a few more stories. So this was in late fall that this spread was happening. So you can see I have lots of fall colors and fall photos, but not as much as I would have earlier in the season. It's starting to get kind of cold, but I really loved the black and white at this time of year. I thought it was so fun to kind of help my photos sort of pop and give me the opportunity to add so many photos like this with these pockets filled, even though most of the cards that I'm using are actually not pocket cards. They are actually pattern paper. Well, I would say maybe it's like half and half pocket cards and pattern paper. So that's another thing that's just super fun about getting those 12 by 12 papers is that they still work really well for project life. Okay, so I used the other one of those label stickers, but instead of adding journaling, I'm just adding one of the puffy words on there. And then I'm adding another one of the puffy words here to this card that has these diagonal stripes. So this is a style that I loved, and you heard me talk about this in the beginning, that I kind of wanted to get back to my basics or my roots of project life. And one of the things that people used to do a lot, and that I used to do a lot, was write on the diagonal on these cards like this with the white diagonal stripes. So I was super thrilled to see this pattern in this kit and be able to include this style here. And it's something that I want to do more often because I just love the way it looks. So I'm going to add a few of these chipboard phrases on various cards throughout the kit. I do have these two like 3x4 cards kind of paired side by side. But what I end up doing is adding a lot of those word phrase strips kind of across that seam and taking advantage of the fact that these are actually in a 4x6 pocket. It's not a 3x4 card. So I do have the ability to kind of adhere them together or go kind of across that line, which I think is super fun. Now I'm going to write on this photo, and I used a Sharpie pen for that, or just a Sharpie, because it's just so smooth on the photo. And I kind of regret that now. I have found that looking back on some of my older projects that the Sharpies don't actually last. So it's something that I want to move away from and find something else to use on my spreads in the future when I want to write on photos. But one thing that I do use often are the Posca paint pens when I'm writing on photos, and I think that those last. It's just that they're very thick, so I need something else that's thin to write on photos. So I will probably try that out soon. Try to find something for that soon. Okay, so now this spread is done. I'm just slipping everything into the pocket, and I absolutely love how this one turned out, you guys. I think this one was just super fun. I love the black and white theme. I love all the 3x4s, and it kind of leads into what I'm doing for 2023, which you guys will see soon, where I am sharing, or I am moving to the 9x12 size and using a lot of just 3x4 pockets. So here's a look at that finished spread. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks. Bye.